Now, what the book does not do is not a bash the British book. No, it's not, because it recognizes that there were two classes of colonial administrators. There were some who were genuinely on the side of Nigerians, who wanted the betterment and the upliftment of Nigerians. Governors like Walter Egerton. They were development orientated. They were looking for harness the resources of this territory in order to build the infrastructure. And this is why I said the amalgamation and the template, the operating system that was chosen at the point of the amalgamation was the critical misroad, because there was a decision to be made as to which governor, as between the governor of southern Nigeria and the governor of northern Nigeria. Lugard was the governor of northern Nigeria. Egerton was the governor of southern Nigeria. Egerton was development orientated. He was looking to better the condition of the people he had responsibility for. Lugard was the other type of colonial administration.
Strangely, is the most celebrated.
There you are. As I said, the victors write the history. So as between that battle between two colonial governors, each of them looking at Nigeria and say, how do we take it forward? It was Lugard who won the toss. Lugard, whose focus was much more extractive. What can we take out of this place? Not focusing on the future of Nigerians. So that's why I say that was a critical juncture.
Okay. Whenever I'm reading a book, I'm always looking out for what I call the defining points of the book. And I think I found it in your book. I found it in page 111. I'll read. The adoption of different systems of administration in the North and South was not of itself problematic, since the people of each territory were secure in their own space. The problem which has plagued Nigerians even up to the present was the appointment of Lugard in 1912 to unite the two territories in pursuit of the ideal of one Nigeria. A British policy objective born of two calculations, one short term, the other long term. And then he went on to explain the short term and the long term and all that. Is this the defining point in your book?
You are a genius. In the 328 pages, you really managed to put your finger at the critical missed road. I mean, there were several missed roads, but that one is really the core of the matter. That it was at the point of the amalgamation where a decision had to be made, as I said, which operating system should the new Nigeria run with, the fused Nigeria run with. It could have been like peas in a pod, right next to each other, like twins, but each has its own identity. And you have a federal structure that embraces that, allowing each to continue to run with its own operating system. The fusion, there laid the problem. And in particular, as I said, fusion itself was not was not in itself problematic. It was a choice of Lugard. It was a choice of Lugard. Egerton, we would not have the crisis that we have now.
Place today's Nigeria within the context of our history that you have explained in this book. Today's Nigeria, with all the problems and the ethnic and tribal issues, and all the economic challenges, political challenges. Now, place today's Nigeria within that context.
What I'm saying is this: a country that is made up of, as the book discloses, 371 ethnic groups, as 371 ancient nations who were coexisting in the same geographical space. To be fused, starting from what Lugard did in 14, to be fused into one Nigeria, you could see that that one Nigeria agenda, Lugard agenda, is still at play. Hence the conflict and the crisis. Why does that lead to conflicts and crisis? It is this. We have been led to believe that the choice is either or, Nigeria or Yoruba, Nigeria or Hausa, Nigeria or Igbo, rather than Nigeria and Yoruba, Nigeria and Igbo, Nigeria and Ijaw, Nigeria and Hausa. Just as the British themselves, they have Britain, the shared identity, but they are British and Welsh, British and Scottish, British and English, British and Irish, rather than one or the other. Nigerians don't want one or the other, but they want both. And the reason it makes sense when you have this diversity is this. You have the choice between the orange. When you peel the skin of the orange, you know the orange, you look at the orange and it's a hole. That hole is Nigeria. Peel the skin and you see how the segments of the orange sit side by side to make the whole. That is how we should manage our ethnicities. Each ethnic group comfortable sitting right next to the other, but with the Nigerian skin enveloping all, such that the outside world sees the Nigeria, if you like, the one Nigeria. But within that one Nigeria, we're paying recognition to the reality of our difference. What the political class have been trying to do is not to pursue the orange in terms of unity and wholeness and oneness. They're pursuing the apple. You know, the apple similarly has a skin that wraps the whole. Mm-hmm. And what you find when you peel the apple, it is all mashed. So they're trying to mash the 371 into the apple, rather than allowing the 371 to coexist within the same skin, the same Nigeria skin as an orange. One leads to conflict, which is what we're seeing now in Plateau and all those places. Every day we keep opening the newspapers, listening to the news, this conflict, that conflict. That is because the one Nigeria agenda that the Lugardis, the modern day Lugardis are pursuing is the one Nigeria of the apple, rather than the one Nigeria of the orange, in which the ethnic groups will peacefully coexist, just like civilized countries across the world.